Coach,
What's going on?
nothing much, nothing much. Is my sound okay?
Yep, everything's good. How about my
All right.
sound?
Yeah, it seems fine. So I just want to tell you I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. Um,
You're welcome.
yeah, and we're not going to hold you up too long. Just want to jump into a few things.
Take my mask off. I'm like quick. I'm in the room now. I don't need the mask.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. So, for everybody that's joining or will watch this at a later time, this is Coach Darrell Armstrong,
Mhm.
um, Dallas Mavericks assistant now. Um, used to play himself back at Fayetteville State in college. A whole lot of different things, man. Ended up having a great NBA career after all of the adversity. So that's who this is, and we're gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna go all the way back. Talk to me about how it was growing up in Gastonia, North Carolina.
Um, well, it was good. It was a lot of things that we did outdoors. We didn't have all the video games. I think all we had was Atari um, and things like that. It was a lot of playing pickup basketball in the backyard, going to the community center to play pickup basketball or go play pool or go to Boys and Girls Club and also play football in the streets, tag football or sometimes tackle. So that was the thing growing up in North Carolina, Gastonia, North Carolina, that was fun for me as a kid, which is, to me, that especially playing tackle football, it taught me a lot, taught me how to be tough and things like that.
Absolutely. I'm right here in Greensboro, so I know about the
Mhm.
Carolinas.
Yeah.
So it's been a conversation about whether a lot of athletes will let their child play football and
hmm
how early they will. What is your thought process on that? Do you think that you should allow your children to play football? And is there a certain age? Because of all the concussions and all that type stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna let my son do what he strived to do. If he wants, or any of my kids, I let my daughter, they wanted to play basketball, they can play basketball as long as they wanted to play. What I didn't want to be the one who had to push them to play. I wanted them to be, Daddy, I want to go play basketball. I want to do football. I want to do golf, or I want to, go to the library, study this or do this, or I want to be a nurse. I'm letting them make that choice because when it comes to the real world, they have to make choices on their own when they get older. When they start getting to college and when they become, uh, basically adult on their own, they by themselves, they're gonna have to learn how to do their homework without me saying or their mom saying, you got to get in here and do your homework. So a lot of those things I like to put on my kids because if they want to do it as a parent, that's great because that means I have to support them and stand by them because they really wanted to, push or pursue something. I just don't want to be the one that's pushing them when it comes to like, you got to do this, you need to do that. No, I want them to learn how to be responsible as young adults, and when they leave the house, they're ready to leave on their own.
Absolutely. I understand and respect that a lot, because a lot of times I think your kids will resent you in the end if you try to make them live, the life that you lived or,
Right.
try to make them follow you. I agree with you. You should allow them to follow their dreams, not yours.
Exactly. Exactly.
So with that being said, what age did you start playing football? I mean, well, basketball and football. You said you played both. So what age did you get into those two sports?
Well, I mean, I played football basically all my little young years coming up. Pop Warner, um, junior midget, middle school, high school, and I really didn't fall in love with basketball until my senior year of high school. Um, So we was playing Greensboro Page in the semifinals to go to the state, and we ended up getting beat. So I didn't want to just go home and just sit around. So I tried out for the basketball team, which the basketball team had already started. They had played a few games already, and Coach Shepard, he did let me come out and try out. So I tried out, and uh, he came to my one of my rooms while I was in class, And this was about a couple of days later. He's like, he got me out of the room. He asked the teacher, could he take me out of the room? And he took me out and talked to me. He's like, he said, look, you can be on this team if you want to. You're not going to get much playing time, and I respect that. That's all I want is a coach to be honest with me. He's saying you're not going to get much playing time, but you can be a 13-man on a 13-man team that you can help us in practice, and so he said it's up to you. And I told him I would love to be on the team, and that's all I wanted to do. And my goal was to prove him wrong. I'm not mad that he said I'm not going to play a lot. I'm not going to, I can help us in practice. Well, first thing I started doing was, I started competing. I started learning how to play better. Because that was my first year, my only year ever trying out for high school basketball. And then I basically ended up being like 2 of the 3 best players on the team, and ended up getting playing time near Christmas tournament. And I remember we played my first cousin, who played at Hardin High School. He's an Armstrong as well, and we played them, and I never forget. Our guys got in foul trouble, and I had to play that day. He had to put me in the game. And I never forget, I boxed out so well, I let the ball just bounce. I was so concentrated and focused, I let the ball bounce about 2 or 3 times before I went and got it. But I ended up getting the dunk that day, got an and one. I missed the free throw. But we ended up coming back and winning. And from there, I really started playing a lot more after that. And, it's just about the opportunity. That's how I always look at things. You give me 10 minutes. I used to tell people this right here. You give me 5 minutes, I'll make it into 10 minutes. If you give me 10 minutes, I can make it into 15. And that just all came from me, the way I think, the energy I play with, and who's in front of me. Because if you got a name, I'm going to play even better. I'm going to challenge you, and I'm going to, do what I have to do to continue to outplay you and beat you. So that's always been my mentality. But, for me, that's where it started. My love started in high school, my senior year, with this basketball thing. I still love football as my first love, but I thank God that he brought basketball in my life, because he took me overseas to play. I've been in Cyprus, Greece, playing basketball. I've been in Israel playing basketball. I've been in Spain playing basketball, and that's why I joined the Orlando Magic from Spain.
Absolutely. So with that being said, that you started playing basketball in the 11th grade, what do you think allowed you to be able to latch on that late and still be able to be a great player? Because a lot of times people are playing basketball from 5, 6, 7, 8. You was getting started at what, 16?
No, it was my senior year. It was my 12th grade year. I don't know
Right,
if I
so
said
17, 18.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's my 12th grade year. And I don't know, like I said, I just fell in love with it. I went to school, I went to college. I wasn't on a scholarship. I barely got into Fayetteville State, because I was basically wasn't going to go to school, because I was looking to go play football. I tried out for a couple of football teams, Garden the Web. I tried to go out there and punt and kick, and went to Montreat Anderson for basketball to work out for them, to try to get on with their team in the summertime, and then nothing happened. So I was going to basically just say, hey, I get a job and just sit around and just wait and see what's going on. And then my cousin, I think it was Darrell Armstrong, said, hey, Darrell, have you tried Fayetteville State? And have you applied? And I applied to Fayetteville State. In about a week, I got a response that I got accepted into the school, and that's why I ended up going to.
Wow. So you get to Fayetteville State. You're a walk-on, if I'm not mistaken.
Walk on in football, basketball,
Yeah.
track, whatever, cross country, all of the above.
Okay, so how were you able to balance playing all of those sports in college and still be effective?
Well, for me, be honest with you, my first semester was a bad, terrible semester for me, but it taught me a lesson. Once again, I told you, it was crazy. I'm on my own. My first time ever being away from home, and I ain't gonna never forget. Soon my mom left and got my room together. The first thing I did was grab a beer, You know, and I'm not really a beer drinker at that time. I just grabbed me a beer. Somebody threw me a beer. One of my homeboys had some drinks and kept partying like I was a rock star. And basically flunked all my classes except swimming that semester. And then what was crazy was my mom was paying out of her pockets. And if it wasn't for my brother, my oldest brother, Melvin, I ain't gonna never forget, even as I think right now, I'm never gonna forget the talk that he had with my mom at the table, because my mom wasn't gonna let me go back. Because she works hard. She works hard for her money. She was working 2 jobs. My mom like, no, I'm not gonna let him go back. And my brother was like, he looked at me and he had my back. I don't know why. He always that's who always introduced me to Pop Warner football with my cousin and them and everything. But he was the one to take me to practice my first Pop Warner football. But he had my back that day, and he told my mom, he's like, Mom, come on, let him go back. He's gonna do better. And he looked at me for some reason. He never fussed at me. But he looked at me and he was like, Mom, he's gonna do better. And I did. It took me that semester. It took me summer school, 2 summer school sessions. The next the next 2 semesters, my second year, and then 2 more summer school sessions to get my grades back up. Even when I had my grades down, I still tried out for basketball. And I basically made the team, but I couldn't play because I knew my grades was bad. But I just wanted to see if I could play on that level. And then I got my grades together after my second semester of summer school in my second year. And then the next year I was eligible to go back and play basketball. And Ray McDougal, who was the interim coach that year, he let me I made the team. I ended up starting at the point guard position. And then from there, next 3 years, I just continued to grow and grow. And then Jeff Capel came in my 4th year, which was crazy. I was still on scholarship. My mom still was paying out of her pocket. And my 4th year, when Jeff Capel got the job, him and Mark Klein came in and they gave me a scholarship for my last couple of years of 2 years of basketball. And like I was saying, I learned a lot from Coach Capel. I thank Ray McDougal for giving me the opportunity to play the first year, and I ended up getting the MVP on my team that year. And then the next 2 years, like I say, when I got that scholarship, Coach Capel gave me a drill called Beat the Pro, and he said, "I'm gonna leave it up to you to do it." And I had one of my buddies, Byron Davis, who played at Fayetteville State. My best friend Travis Husky, who went to Fayetteville State, and we did that drill day and night, and just taught me how to shoot the ball better because I wasn't a consistent shooter. And once I learned how to shoot the ball better, man, oh my God, it just came all together. And like I said, I just took off from there.
So what you're saying is, your work ethic is stood out, and you also had to understand that you were given a second chance.
Big
By your
time.
brother speaking up for
Yeah.
you, that allowed you the opportunity to get your stuff together. And I know you're grateful that you did.
Yeah. I mean, and like I was saying, I reflect a lot on my years coming up with the things like remembering that day at the table when my mom really didn't want to do it again because of her hard-earned money. And I understand it now. I'm a parent. I understand that, and having somebody in your corner to talk up for you, which was my oldest brother. So that was the second chance that I got, and I took advantage of it because I didn't want to disappoint nobody. I knew my mom worked hard. I knew I had that type of work ethic in my body, that the way she works every day, 2 jobs, from 6 to 6 in the afternoon. And you know what I'm saying? So for me, I got it together, and it paid off. All the hard work paid off. Gave me the opportunity to go to a semi-pro league and get drafted by that league, the Global Basketball Association, where it was the Raleigh Bullfrogs. And it didn't work out there for me. But fortunately, I just kept plugging and plugging. I went through about 4 or 5 different leagues. The USBL league was probably the most important league of my life, because after the after the Global Basketball Association, my first year, I came back to Fayetteville State because I couldn't get a job for basketball, and I got back in school trying to finish school, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I was so focused on getting back out there into this world of trying to make the NBA and find somewhere to play that I left school. And Coach Cable didn't even know, nobody knew. I left school and went and tried out for the USBL, and that league will probably be the most important league that I probably ever played to get me into the NBA camp. And I got into NBA camp with the Atlanta Hawks my first year after playing in that league. And one of my coaches is Al Outlaw. He told me, he said, I was trying to cut you. And the crazy thing for me was I was so focused on just playing both ends of the floor, especially defense, that he said, I was trying to, he told me honest, he said, I was trying to cut you. But everybody I put up against you, you outworked defensively. And then he said, I found out, next thing you know, you got offense. And he said, pack your bags. You're going on the road. We about to head down to Miami, Jacksonville, Florida, and Daytona Beach, Florida. And I was on that team. And we went to the championship that year. My last game in the championship, we played in North Florida, which is so crazy because that's where Orlando Magic, when I played with Orlando, we always did our training camp there at North Florida University. So he's like, yo, you're going to camp with Atlanta Hawks. And that's what started my career getting into NBA camps. And from there, every year I got into an NBA Summer League camp. And I just kept getting better and better and better. And by the time you know it, I was my second year overseas in Spain. And I had a chance to go sign with a team with Orlando, but they wasn't going to guarantee all my money. So I ended up going overseas, played for $100,000, which I tripled my money from Cyprus, Greece, which I played for $36,000 in Cyprus the year before, and tripled my money to $100,000. And next thing you know, my last game of the season, we pushed the game ahead because we was trying to give Real Madrid time to get ready for the Final Four, the European Championship. Basically, Final Four is like the NCAA Final Four over here. So we moved the game from Sunday to Friday. The day I got the call was on Friday that Orlando Magic was probably going to be signing me the next day. And so after the game, I never forget it. I had 38 points. I had like eight threes in that game. I was hot. I led the league in scoring. And we had a little dinner after the dinner. And I couldn't eat because I was picking my food. I was like picking my food because I was waiting for this call. And my agent had told me earlier that day, when you, after the game, go to the dinner, after dinner, come back home and wait for me to call. And went back home after dinner, ran. And I got home and the phone rang about 15 minutes later. And my agent was like, congratulations. And I'm thinking he talking about the game. And he said, he got quiet, I got quiet. He said, you're an official member of the Orlando Magic. And I was like, wow. He said, go to the airport. It's 2 hours away. Go to the airport. I got the team, taxi cab driver, the wife, the father, and the daughter drove me to the airport. I didn't think I was going to make it because they drive crazy over there. And he said, when you get to the airport, had to go to Santiago, Spain. When you get to the airport, go inside and ask for your, should be a ticket there. And I went inside. I didn't even take my luggage out of the car. And I asked the lady, she's like, I said, you have a Darrell Armstrong for a ticket? Iberia Airline was the name of it. And she said, yeah. She said, you got ID? I was like, yeah. She said, you got luggage? I was like, yeah. She said, well, you need to go get it. And I went back to the cab and got it and told them thank you and went back. And next thing you know, I'm on the plane flying to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to sign my first contract with the Orlando Magic. And signed it in Veterans Stadium, walked across the street, and got dressed and walked in the locker room. Was like, man, all this hard work paid off. I saw my name on the back of my jersey. And from there, 14 years later, 26 years later, I'm still in this thing.
Yeah, man, it's powerful. So powerful, your story. So talk to us about how it felt. Not necessarily once you got the call. I know that was remarkable to even get the call from the agent and he says you can ready to sign this contract. Head on down there and sign the contract. But talk to us about how the plane ride was when you're actually traveling on a plane and you know where you're headed to your first NBA contract. Talk to us about that feeling, about I know you were hype.
Too hype. I couldn't even sleep on the plane. I thought I would sleep for about an hour or so. I'd be asleep for about 15 minutes. And finally, I just stayed up because it was like 6 to 7 hour flight because I had to connect into from Madrid. I had to connect into New York, and from New York, I had to take a small plane. It was raining. That was crazy, lightning and thundering. And I never forget. My mom told me, before you leave, let me know when you're on your way home. And so I was trying to surprise her. So I waited till I got to New York, and I called her. And I said, Mom, I'm in New York. She said, boy, didn't I tell you to call me before you left? I was like, yeah. I said, but I'm not coming home. She said, what you talking about? I said, I'm about to sign with Orlando Magic. She just started screaming, dropped the phone, started screaming. So my stepdad picked it up. And my stepdad was like, well, what you say to your mama? I said, I'm about to sign with Orlando Magic. He's like, well, get out of here. I said, I'm for real. I'm on my way there now. So hung up the phone with them and got on this little small plane. And I was like, oh, God, please. I know you ain't playing with me right now. There's too much weather up here. This thing, lightning and everything. This plane, it's a short flight, so it's a small plane. And so I get there, land, and the first person I see is John Gabriel, who was the general manager who saw me in Bethune-Cookman College. I was in my element that day. I was in the USBL. And what's crazy was he didn't come to see me play. He came to see these two cats that played at West Kentucky or Eastern Kentucky, and they went to the Sweet 16 that year. And one of them had to play against me, and we had played 2 days, a Friday and a Saturday. And the first night, I really showed out. I had 45 points, 3 dunks, I had 2 backwards dunks, and then the next night I had 30 points, and just was just displaying my talent. And next thing you know, I remember Al Outlaw did like this, and he said, I got the card, Orlando Magic, I want you to come into camp. And that's how I ended up getting to camp. The guy who was coming to watch me play, I outplayed. And that's why I say the first person when I landed and got to Philly, I had to go get my bag with John Gabriel. He gave me the phone. He's like, somebody want to speak to you from the radio, news people. I was speaking to them. We was walking, and I got my bag, drove to the Spectrum Stadium, walked in, saw my jersey, said hello to Coach Hill, Brian Hill, and 2 players I met first was Shaq and Horace Grant. They were still in the locker room, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I ain't gonna tell you how I really said it, but I was like, "Oh my God, these are the biggest 2 dudes I ever seen." Because Arvydas Sabonis played over in Spain, who was big at that time, and Arvydas Sabonis came to the United States to the NBA the next year, and so I saw how big he was, but I saw how big these guys was in athletic. I was like, man. I didn't see this over in Spain, black college. I didn't see this in semi-pro, but they was some big boys, and I was like, yo, I knew I made it. So, like I said, I went across the street to Veteran Stadium, signed my contract, and as I'm signing my contract, I'm like, what the hell? I asked the lady, I said, is this a jail down here? She was like, yeah, Philly fans are wild, when it comes to football. So signed my thing, went back over, got dressed, and went out on the Spectrum Stadium, and it was an incredible moment, man, for me, because my agent was there, and just to walk in the atmosphere. And I didn't play that night, but it was just still in awe. I was still in awe. The 24 hours was like just crazy because I'm sitting here playing in Spain, and next thing you know, I'm right here. I'm signing the deal with Orlando Magic the next day at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. I'm sitting on a bench for the rest of my career with them the next 9 years. And so what a journey. But like I say, I worked hard. I put the work ethic in there, and I competed so hard that my body is all tore up. But I appreciate everything that I went through and where I'm at and what I'm doing right now, because there's a lot of people trying to get in these doors of the NBA. There's a lot of people who want to be on this level that can't get in here. There's a lot of coaches who want to be in this level that can't get in here. So I've been blessed from my hard work and my belief and my trust and my faith that I could do it, and I done it, and I'm still here doing it.
Yeah, so many things I wanted to talk about that you went into. Just great stuff. So I'm a WSSU, Winston-Salem State University. I don't know if you knew that. Oh, come on now, coach.
Nah, I knew that, but the love for Big House game and Coach Caper when we used to play them and the battles we used to have with him, it was always fun to play against. Not only Winston-Salem State, but you was playing against the Big House games, teams and stuff like that in his name. So it was always fun. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yes, sir. Coach Gaines was a legend for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I have three athletes that I know from our basketball team now. One in particular, Rasheed Merlin, who I believe is on the live. He wanted me to ask you about what is your advice for a 6'9", 6'10" forward who's trying to get into the league. I know that, your story, you can't quit. If you don't
Nah.
get drafted, if you end up having to play overseas or don't even get an overseas opportunity, if it's really what you want to do, you have to be 100% with that. And so what would you tell the athlete that is, graduating college soon or has graduated college that says the NBA is my ultimate dream and I'm not going to stop until I reach that goal?
Well, I mean, I tell you, you gotta have faith, you gotta have belief, you gotta have trust, and you gotta walk out on faith. That's what I did when I left Fayetteville State. I walked out on faith. I didn't have nothing else going. One of the guys who was our trainer for Fayetteville State, he the one who gave me the sheet. My boy Marshall gave me the money to go up there and try out. And when I went up there and tried out, like I said, I made it, but for 6'9", you can't teach height. I'm gonna tell you right now, you can't teach height. You just gotta, you gotta stick with it. You gotta first of all find your agent. Find your agent who can find you things, find you places you can either go try out, work out, or go overseas and play. Because at the end of the day, you need numbers, you need highlights, and you need to play well. Because especially coming from a Division II black college. We don't get the looks that every other schools around the world get, but we are so talented that they can find us. I ain't gonna never forget. Coach Caper told me. Coach Caper told me this, and I trusted and I believed in it. He told me, if you can play, they're gonna find you. If you can play, they'll find you. And that's all I done. That's all I done. I had to learn patience. I had to learn a lot of things about waiting my turn and things like that. Even when I got to Orlando, I had to be patient. I had to continue to work even harder. My first 2 years, I really didn't get to play, but the garbage minutes because of they basically had their team. My first year, Shaq and them went to the championship. Shaq Penny and them, they went to the championship, and for me, the next year we got to the conference final, but MJ and them beat us in the conference final, and they went on and won the championship. So after that, Shaq left, and then that's when I started getting my opportunity because of the team changed and they moved Penny more to the 2, so that's why I got my opportunity. But if I didn't prepare myself and I wasn't ready, I probably could have been left out myself. But I just continued to work. My playing time was my practice time. That was my playing time. If I got 5 or 6, 7 minutes because we were blowing out teams, I went hard. I didn't care who got mad at me on another team. I'm trying to eat just like everybody else eating. I want to be on this court performing just like everybody else want to be performing. So my goal was always to, when I got the opportunity, produce. And I had to produce. If I didn't, I'd have been stuck back and sitting back and maybe not even be in this position. But that's what I did. I just, like I said, I reflect a lot that I walked out on faith when I left Fayetteville State. I couldn't go to class. I wanted to do basketball. When you set to do something, I don't care if it's a nurse, doctor, or whatever, a lawyer, when your mind is set on you're going to make it and you're going to do it, you can do it. And that's what I did. And like I said, I just thank God every day, man, because this has been one of the fun lifestyles for me because I get to continue to do something that I love, even as a coach, to come in and work with these young guys that we have every year coming in. This is my 13th year as an assistant coach. And I can't ask for nothing more. I mean, I played 14, then I'm coaching 13. So the dream has continued to, move, and I continue to enjoy this game, and and enjoy being around young guys who wanting to learn and wanting to win and wanting to get better. I mean, so you can't ask no more than that. And I thank God for this opportunity and just continue to take advantage of it.
Yeah, so I agree with everything you said. We know that 2020 last year was a rough year, but I just challenged myself to grind even harder.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I don't feel like it, just
Yeah.
grind even harder, grind a little harder, because I believe that faith without works is dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're not doing your part, you're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
And so I definitely agree with everything that you said.
Yeah. And be honest with you, man, it's even probably tougher now for a lot of athletes who's trying to get that opportunity because of even with our team, we're not doing our D League team this year. All the guys who we got who's supposed to be on our D League team, which is good for them, is they're gonna be with our team the whole year. Because usually they'll go down and they'll come back up. Maybe they'll go down, but now they're here with us the whole full time. And so but for other guys who need to get in those type of leagues or overseas or something like that, it's going to probably be even harder. But you just got to continue to work and continue to believe. I mean, if that's something you want to do, you do it. Because, be honest with y'all, I didn't get there until I was age 26. I was 26 when I first signed my contract for the NBA. So, like I was saying, it can happen. It can happen. We don't seen stories with guys who worked as a teacher for the Lakers. The guy for the Lakers, he 2 years ago he got the opportunity to play a couple of games and did well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I believe in miracles. I'm not gonna say a lot to you. I believe in miracles. I believe in the opportunity. You give me that opportunity, I can take advantage of it. And that's how the guys got to think. You just got to find ways. Your agent got to find ways to find something that you can invest in and get your name out there. And like I said, for me, I'm really 5'11". I wasn't. They put me at 6'1". I'm 5'11 and a half. So even when I went to Cypress Greece, I was the smallest guard that they ever had over there. I heard that they don't take these type of guards. I was playing against guys that were 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" at the point guard. But I was so athletic that people really gravitated to me because of, like, fans, even the visiting fans, because I was dunking, I was jumping, I was blocking shots. And so I was doing so many things over there that my height really made me more spectacular to the fans over there. When I dunk, they'll clap for you. That's the appreciation that, hey, that we like your dunk. So, but you can't teach the things that height has. You can't teach height. So you can coach it, but I can't grow height like it's a tree. I can't grow it. Like put some water on it and put it in the ground. No. So for guys like 6'9", do your work now. A lot of times now, a lot of guys you see in the NBA that's tall is shooting threes now. A lot of time the game has changed now. A lot of the thing has been outside shooting, big man shooting a lot of threes. So try to study the game and try to understand the game and try to mold your game where you can get seen and get the opportunity. Hopefully one day get in a camp somewhere.
Yeah, that's big. Even like with the NFL, I agree with you, because the NFL, you see those running backs. It's important for running backs in today's NFL to be able to catch the football.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
want to be able to do as many things as possible to give yourself the best chance.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so I definitely agree with you that as a forward, even in the league today, 6'9", 6'10", we do see, like you said, that 90% are taking threes sometime now, it seems
Yeah.
like. We don't have traditional bigs. The
Right.
Jahlil Okafors have kind of been phased out because
Yes.
he's just more of a post guy.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The game has changed a lot over the years, and even before I got into it, and when I got into it, the game was still changing, and they was messing with the rules, the 3-point line, and so they was doing a lot of things that was different to the game now. That's even more different now, and so over the years, you're gonna continue to see a lot of big man shoot threes now. And that's where the game is at now. Not only just big man's guards and everything. Everything is around that 3-point line.
Yeah, and like you said also earlier, one of your the people I think that found you or gave you your first opportunity, it's important also to play defense, to
Oh
be able
yeah,
to pass, to do everything, not to be a one side of the court type player. If you
exactly.
want to maximize your talent, maximize your opportunity, you need to lock in every facet.
Exactly. Remember what I said. When I tried out for the USBL, I didn't go up there thinking I'm scoring. I don't see guys just getting in a tryout, and all they're thinking about is just scoring the basketball. And never forget. Coach Caper told me. Coach Caper said, he said my first tryout ever was with the Global Basketball Association, and he said, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you swing that ball around, if you swing the ball and it goes around, do not expect that ball to come back around, because guys is trying to prove something. They're trying to do, but they're thinking that scoring baskets is good and getting picked up or getting drafted. So my thing was, all right, I understand what he's saying. So how can I make my game revolve even more? So what I did was I picked up full court. I pressured the basketball. I played basically the right way. When I got in the lane, if I saw 2 guys or 3 guys collapsing on me, I kicked the ball out. I call it making the right play. And then when I had the opportunity to score, I scored. So for me, I've seen a lot of guys kill themselves just thinking, just going out there, just score the basketball. You can score the basketball, but you can't stop your man. Oh my God, you scored 20, but he scored 30. That's a 10-point difference. So that's what I did. And, taking the words from Coach Cable, and he gave me an idea that this is how I need to play. If I pass that ball, because I'm going to play the right way. If I pass that ball, I got to expect somebody's going to shoot that ball by the time it comes back around. So I got to make sure that I do all the other little things, because I say little things add up to be big things. Diving on the floor for a loose ball and getting that loose ball, not just diving on the floor. That's my loose ball. Taking charges, making the extra pass. Just like I say, just playing the game the right way. And that's what I have done. Even when I got to Dallas, I knew I didn't have to score no more. When I got traded to Dallas from New Orleans, my thing was, this is how I'm going to make myself play with these guys, with Nowinski. I just pushed the ball. I pressured the basketball. I did all the little things that, I know that can affect the game. And it was so easy to go out there and play with these guys, because I had a Josh Howard who could knock down a shot. I had a Stackhouse who could knock down a shot. Marquise Daniel who can get to the rim, throw the ball ahead to him. Dirk Nowinski who can knock down a shot or post up. My thing was, this is how I'm going to lead. And it really brought my leadership role into even more of being vocal, showing guys how we're going to play on the defensive end. And Johnson, my fault. One thing I give Avery Johnson a lot of credit, he knew how to use my ability. He knew when to throw me in the game. He'll throw me in the game sometimes. If we come out and don't play good defense right away, first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, DA. Put me in for about 3 or 4 minutes, get us going, playing defensively well. I might not even play the rest of the night, but we got our defense going. So he knew those things. Like I said, those are the little things that you don't see sometimes on paper. For me, I always tell people this right here. I probably played one of my best games. I don't score with 35. I don't miss triple doubles. I don't have great winning games, winning shots. But my best game probably came without really taking a shot in the game. I had 5 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 4 charges in the game, 4 steals. And really didn't take a shot. I got all my points at the free throw line, and we ended up winning the game. But I did all those little things that you don't see on paper sometimes, and that's what counts. Like I said, I didn't have to score no more. I had people around me that could score. I could just use my energy and use my effort and my leadership to get us where we wanted to go. And we got to the second round of the first year, and my last year in Dallas, we got to the championship and gave it away. gave it away to the Miami Heat and ended up losing the NBA Finals. But all those things still came to work out for our best because we got to the NBA Finals where we wanted to get to, and just have an opportunity to play for a championship was big.
Absolutely. Dirk Nowitzki, he seems like a quiet person. Is that Dirk?
Don't let that fool you. Don't let that fool you. He's one of the best. He's a, he he's sneaky. He's sneaky funny. He just put his work in. He enjoyed being around his teammates. He enjoyed laughing and having a good time. He think he can rap. So he's just a good guy that you love to be around, love to compete with. Excuse me. And so that's why I say it made it fun that I had the opportunity, not only my first year playing with him, but my second year get not only get him to a championship, but also get the whole franchise to a championship that they never been at that time. And even though we lost, we was there. We should have had it, but we didn't. But they came back in 2011, which I was part of that as well as assistant coach to win it all. So I've been proud and been honored that I've been with Dallas over 15, 16 years and twice got to the NBA Finals, and the only time they ever been there. So I'm honored by that.
Absolutely. So we're gonna take it back just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You are the only player in NBA history to win Sixth Man of the Year and
Mm-hmm.
Most Improved Player in the same season. How does that feel? Um, yeah, I mean, basically, like I said, how does that feel knowing that you are in the record books for being the only player to do that and accomplish that?
Well, I mean, it's amazing. It was amazing to me because I came off this shoulder surgery right here, torn rotator's cuff that year, and that's the year we had the first lockout when we only played 50-game season. Thank God that we did play 50-game season because it gave me a chance to get healthier and get the rehab in. And I was doing it in Atlanta because when the lockout season go on, we can't be in the facility. So I had to find a place in Atlanta where I stay in the off season to go get my rehab, and found the place. And then back then we had run and shoot. We used to go up there and play a little bit, and got back strong. And my goal was to come back healthy because I was a free agent too at that time. And that was my really breakout year, the year I got hurt because I missed the last 32 games of the season. And Chuck Daly, who was my coach at the time, Chuck Daly called me, and we just left Indiana last night. We just left there. So we flew into Indiana, Chuck Daly, I had to go do an MRI on my shoulder because I couldn't even hold my arm up like this. My arm would drop on its own because my rotator cuff was messed up. And so I did my MRI, and I never forget, Chuck called me in his room, in the hotel room, and he's like, "Look, you're going to miss the last 32 games of the season." And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to fight hard for you. I know you're a free agent. I'm going to fight hard for you. And you just got to get yourself back together." And so after that, and I was averaging 9.2. That was really my breakout year. I was getting the opportunity to really play and shine, and I was starting. And so when I went and did my surgery, did my rehab, and got back, we signed my big deal after that. Signed a 5-year, $20 million. And then that year, we started off, I never forget, we were about to play New York on TNT. And the first 2 or 3 days, right before the game, my Achilles just tightened up. I felt like it was about to pop. And I'm like, "Oh, Lord, please." So they set me for the next 2 days, and my Achilles got fine and got back better. And when we ended up playing that night, I think I came out and had like 16 off the bench and had a nice little dunk, stole it from Spreewell and dunked it. And next thing you know, as the season going on, I hear the fans yelling, "Darrell Armstrong for 6 man." They got posters. They got this. They got that. And I'm sitting here like, wow. And so I end up getting that 6 man. And right after that, not only getting 6 man, a week later, after we got put out of the playoffs by Philly and AI, I get a call that I got the most improved, and I was like, whoa. And I wasn't really playing for none of those awards. I'm just playing because Chuck Daly got mad at me because I didn't have no bonus in there for awards. And he's like, "What you doing, man? You and your agent need to have bonuses in there for awards." Because I never played for awards. I never played that. I played the game, because I wanted to get out here and win and get to a championship and win a championship. So I ended up winning both of them, and come to find out I was the first and only player to ever do that in the history of the NBA. And it was more special because I came off this surgery from my shoulder, from this rotator's cuff. And so that was a special moment for me.
Absolutely. So what would you tell the athlete? I see a lot of times athletes are injured, and they become devastated by that. And some say they even become depressed.
Mm-hmm.
What is your advice to an athlete, whether it's in, high school level, college, professional, the athlete that has suffered a major injury, one that's going to cost them the kind of games that you were cost? What would you tell them in how to overcome that physically and mentally?
Well, I think it's more. I think it's more tougher for college guys, college students, ladies, because they trying to get to where we are, where I'm at, the NBA. Everybody have that dream to play overseas or the NBA, especially the NBA first. But for me, I'm not. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. The good thing is, we have the sources even more as an NBA player to, you know, know what we need to do, know how we need to get back. It's like hands-on. In college, I'm not for sure. I don't know. I'm for sure the major schools, they have those type of sources, but not every school have that. And but you have to believe in your rehab. Have to believe in that you can get back to that level. Look at KD. He's playing so well right now from when he tore his Achilles. Now, I mean, got 40 points the other night. He got 30 something last night. He's back on his feet, but it's going to take a lot, especially when you have a tough injury that's going to leave you out 6 to 7, 8 months. You just have to believe and have to do your rehab and get back stronger and go from there. Because for me, I when I did my rotator's cuff, they did an MRI. They said I had a tear, and then when they went in, they found out not only did I have a tear, I had a partial tear on another tendon. So they basically put me in a sling for about a month, and the rehab was tough because in that sling for a month, my shoulder, my arm, and everything froze up, and to get it back loose, man, it was tough. Oh, that thing hurt so bad just to try to work that movement back out. And once I finally got it back going and got it back stronger, like I said, I came back and played a great season, and like I say, winning the most improved and the six man. But it's something tough. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Like you said, some people get depressed by it. But once again, I trust in the Lord. I have my faith. I have my belief. Your faith and your belief will be tested going through things like what you got to go through. So, I mean, I look at Alex Smith from the Washington football team, which I'm a big fan of, and I watched his documentary, that E60. And if he can do what he's done this year and what he came back from, anybody can do the same thing, because what he had to go through and he had to believe in and trust God, and he's probably going to end up getting the comeback player of the year. So those things are very important, and that's how I felt. Like, man, never had this injury, because this was a baseball injury. This is a pitcher injury, they say, and never had anything like this, and just to hold my arm, and I couldn't hold it up, and it just fall on its own. I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but everything got back right, and I believe and I trust. I don't get too depressed. I get depressed over a loss. I don't get depressed over trying to get my rehab back together. So, but it all worked out for the best, and like I said, I finished up a great career.
Yes, indeed. It's mind over matter. If you believe,
Mm.
you can do it. That's just what I live by.
Yeah.
You can't limit yourself and you can't limit God.
No,
So
not at all.
don't we've been on here a while, overran over, but a great interview. Hope to do it again. I want to ask you a few more questions and then I'm gonna let you go.
Okay, you good?
Last year, last year, unfortunately, we lost the late great Kobe Bean Bryant.
Hmm.
Can you tell us about your favorite memory or story involving Kobe?
Real quick, I got two real quick. Never forget that we I was with Dallas Mavericks and we playing in LA, and Jerry Stackhouse wasn't dressed for that game. He was injured or something, so he's in a suit. He's dressed and sitting on the sideline, and that's when Kobe scored 62 on us in 3 quarters. And in that third quarter, I think he scored 30 in the third quarter. And he missed 3 wide open threes, even in that third quarter, but he still scored 30. So, and one of his threes came, excuse me, he was right in front of our bench. And I used to always sit right there on the corner of the court. And I never forget, the shot clock was running down. We was chasing him. He had him in the corner. He dropped the ball. He picks the ball up with his left hand. He picks it up with both hands, but shot it with his left hand and hit it. And man, I never forget in the huddle, Avery Johnson say, "Damn, Kobe Bryant left hand better than mine." And I was like, "Yo, he was hot," but I never forget Stackhouse saying, "Hey, DA," and I looked back at him. I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Just imagine if the game was close, Kobe might score 100 tonight." And I was like, I know, I believe it. And thank God the game wasn't close. He didn't even play in the fourth quarter. 2 weeks later, he plays against Toronto. And not only did he play in the fourth quarter, because Toronto was winning going into the fourth, they kept Kobe in the game. He scored 81 that night, which was unbelievable. But probably the second one, what was the most impressive one, was Avery Johnson used to have me do film session with the players. No coaches, no nothing. We did it one time. We came from New York, lost a bad game to New York. We fly back home. Avery said, call me to the back of the plane. Avery's like, yo, I want you to do the video with the players. No coaches, you run the video. No players. No coaches, just you. We're going to put the film together. I want you to come in tomorrow morning, watch the film, and then you go through the film session with the players. So I did that, and we went on an 8-game winning streak. So the 9th game coming up, he called me in his office again. He's like, yo, look, I want you to do the same thing. And that's this time we playing the Lakers. He said, I want you to do the same thing with Kobe. The same year he scored 62. Well, in our building, he scored 44. So he said, I want you to do it with Kobe this time, all on Kobe. We're going to put the film together. You come in and watch, and you go through with the players. I said, all right. So we did it with Kobe. Kobe was averaging over like 40-something, 46 points in 2 games against us. This is the 3rd game. We played the West 4 times. Kobe come in the next night. Next day I do it with the players. And since I'm a guard, I was telling Devin Harris, Josh Howard, Marquise Daniels, Stackhouse, them, we can't give him no space. Pick him up early. Don't let him get in his comfort zone. Put your hands up with the referee. We got to make sure he don't get into his sweet spot. Well, he went 5 for 25 the next night. And probably the most beautiful play of the night was DJ Binga, who also played with Kobe and won a couple of championships later on with Kobe in LA. DJ Binga was playing for us. We put him in the game. Kobe go to dunk left hand. And the rim is right here. DJ Binga and Kobe hand is on the ball like this, and he blocks Kobe and pushes him out. One of the most beautiful plays I've seen and picture. But we end up winning the game. We end up going on a 13-game winning streak, and then have lost later on. But that's probably was one of the most honorable things that I ever done on a guy like that with players, was due to the 2 film session, and when the second one was on Kobe Bryant, and we held him to 5 for 25 that night, and we ended up winning the game. But so those are some of the probably my 2 most memorable things about Kobe. What an incredible talent. Shocking still that he's not here. The last time we saw him was in LA. He came through our huddle at halftime, and him and his daughter. So it's still buzzing. It's still shocking because he meant so much to this game, as well as Michael Jordan and a lot of our superstars does. But not to have him around is kind of still crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely sad. Talk to us about how good Luka Doncic can be.
I beat him today. It's, I play all defense. I beat him today in defense and stuff. But no, he's special. I think the thing that a lot of people don't realize, and I didn't realize it at the time, I knew he played for Real Madrid, but he went there when he was age 13, and for him to be there, not only with his mom, his dad, and them wasn't there. He was just there by himself. And that's why I understand the maturity and the things and the reason he knows this game so well. He knows what he wants. I never saw him play until we did. We drafted him. I mean, when we did a trade for him, and he came in. We did volunteering workouts, and the first thing I said I want to do is I like to judge people with my own eyes. I don't judge them off of everybody's eyes. Everybody don't judge like me. I don't judge like them, So everybody got different opinions. So first thing I watch, I want to see if this boy can play. Oh my God. I said, oh my God. How old is he? Oh my God. 19. Yo, knew what he wanted, knew everything about the game. The only thing I said was we got to make sure we work on his European walk. Every time he get a live dribble, he always move his feet. And he never thought he moved his feet until the referee was calling it in preseason walk. But that's all I said. That's all we got to learn and teach this guy, man. He can see the floor. He knows what he wants. He knows how to work the game. And he puts the work in, and he's going to continue to get better. He's only 21 years old. His leadership's going to get better. His game, his ball handling, his shooting. I mean, he puts the work in to do what he do. And right now, even the last two games we played with Toronto and Indiana, they played basically a boxing one on him last night, and triple-double last night with a boxing one on him. So it's scary that how good this young fella can be. He's been picked to be the pre-MVP of the league, and he's amazing. I mean, he's amazing, but he's still like a young kid who loves to play the game, and that's what you love about him.
No question about it. Luka can play for sure. Bright future for sure. Last question. I saw that you met the late great Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, I mean, it was an award ceremony in Miami, which was crazy, and didn't know he was coming. I think I got an award that night. I met a lot of players. Warren Sapp was there. He always used to come to our basketball games in Orlando. He's from that area, Paca, Florida, so he used to come. But when Ali stepped into that room, oh my God, it was stunning. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It was incredible. That was an incredible night when he walked through there, and just like everything focus went from here all the way over there to where he was at. And me and my vice president Thomas Roscoe had a chance to take a picture with him, and I was in awe because anything and anybody know me know I'm big on Ali. I've always been a big Ali fan, but I watch this movie all the time. Even to this day, I still watch this movie, and just amazing the things that he went through and the stand that he took about the Army and things like that. I mean, those are special people. It's like Martin Luther King. He has this holiday because he was special. The civil rights movement stuff. Ali with going to the Army. I'm not fighting this war that it's not for me. I mean, and he stood by that. And then became one of the greatest fighters in the world. I mean, his story is unbelievable, and you I've been blessed to be around people who inspire other people. You know, I know MJ inspires a lot of kids, a lot of athletes. You know, Dirk Nowitzki inspired a lot of Germans, a lot of overseas players who's in the NBA right now, and you know, European players. You know, Luka is going to inspire a lot of players. Shaq inspires a lot of big men. You know, from Colby to Penny. Um, these guys that I've been around still has a name to be reckoned with, where they you know, kids are in awe with what they have done in the NBA and continue to do with Penny at Memphis now as a coach. Shaq is doing TNT. Shaq is doing so many things in business. You know, so for me to see all these great things that you know, Muhammad Ali had done, and you know, Martin Luther King. I mean, and to see the honor and things like that, especially with Martin Luther King Day. I told my CEO and Mark Cuban, I texted him that day, and I put a post up that said Atlanta Hawks was wearing these uniforms. I think everybody in the NBA on Martin Luther King Day should wear these uniforms with MLK on the front. And just like Jackie Robinson, you know, Jackie Robinson, when his day is in Major League, everybody wear 42 around the league the day of the game. So these are a lot of our black leaders, pioneers, and we honor them, and I think it would be great to continue to do things like this. You know, we got Black History Month coming up in February with the NBA, which do a lot with that as well. So, you know, but you know, to a lot of our black leaders in the past has really done a great job, and hopefully a lot of our young guys now in the NBA with the Black Lives Movement and the platform they got, they are taking advantage of what's going on in situations in this world, and they really have stepped up to let their voice been heard, and continue to be heard.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thank you again for your time. Like I said, hope to be in contact with you again soon, and wish you and the Mavericks the best of luck this week and the rest of your games and going forward this season.
Appreciate
Thanks
that.
again for your time.
Appreciate that. Bronco Pride. Let's go.
Go Rams, Doc. Go Rams. Take care.
All right. You take care. Appreciate you. We'll do it again. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right.